Now, the Indology, British, a guy called James Mill, and he wrote 4-volume history of India that became the defining work on India for 100 years. And his son, John Stuart Mill, who was not a historian but a philosopher, who was one of the major philosophers of the Western civilization. John Stuart Mill is one of the big figures. And he's credited with ideas of democracy and liberalism and women's rights and workers' rights, one of those very liberal kind of guys. What they'll never tell you is that his entire life he worked for the British East India Company. He was a very important official whose job was to advise the British East India Company how to rule over Indians. So when he was asked how come this hypocrisy or this liberalism at home and colonialism over there, then he came up with a theory of liberalism which says stages of civilization. Civilization have stages. So like child can't be given rights, but your parental duty is to raise him to be like you someday, so he will have rights. So we are a parental, more mature civilization, they are children, and so the reason we have to colonize is our duty, otherwise we will be remiss in our duty, so we have to raise those Indians like their children to be like us one day. So, and that is liberalism on a linear theory of civilization, the whole civilizing mission, it starts with that. So Hegel comes up with the anti-Indologist. He's kind of in the anti-Indology camp, but he's always studying India. He's always quoting ideas of India, about Indian culture and Indian civilization, having never visited India, having no access to Sanskrit, but relying upon James Mill's work. So one guy does something which is lots of fabrication and lots of completely horrifying things about India, and the other guy simply relies on it as gospel and comes up with more philosophies on different cultures and different civilizations. And that sort of a habit of using each other in a kind of a way is still there. That sort of goes on. And then Risley is the guy who turned all these theories into the caste system.